G'day and welcome back. Today we're going to go back in time. Back in March in 2024, I had a look at this radio at my mother-in-law's house in Melbourne. I'd picked it up in Sydney, I took it down to Melbourne, we were helping her sell her house, pack it all up, and I had a little bit of time and I had a look at this radio. It's 37 degrees here in Melbourne and it's hot and windy. I've gone full Shango here, but I thought I'd have a quick look at this Mullard radio and do a short video, see how it works. Half the information's fallen off the dial, so unless I can get another dial, it's not worth it. And the case is very, very poor. My attitude to radio servicing is no guts, no glory. I'm going to put some power on. We'll see what happens.
Extraordinary that in recent times we've had both floods and bush.
So there it is. What do I do now? Works perfectly. Graham, the radio cruncher over in the UK.
Good day.
Now Graham likes to get a bit of finger into him occasionally, and he uses this, and it's called Bishop's Finger. I'll turn the music up while I try it. Cheers, everybody. Yeah, that is good. What do you guys think? Should I take this home and try and finish it off? The dial glass needs to be remade somehow. I'm not sure how to do that. The cabinet is not fantastic. As we saw in the recap, the letters and numbers have just fallen off this dial glass. When I got home, I got all excited and started to reproduce it. I couldn't read any of that stuff, and I just got discouraged and put it aside. I've been nibbling at it for the last 12 months or so, but the other day I thought I'll really get stuck in and we'll get it finished. And here it is, as usual. It's a vinyl cut sticker. It's going to be good enough. I can't read the numbers. Some of the stations are probably wrong. Some are missing. There's probably stations in there that don't exist. Anyway, it'll do the job. It'll look all right. The major stations are roughly in the right place. If you're not familiar with these stickers, I print them myself on my vinyl cutter. The vinyl sheet I'm used on this project is thermal, so it gets ironed onto the glass. I'll go out in the garage and we'll iron this on. I'm out in the workshop and I have a piece of glass there and I've laid the sticker on top of it. I've just got to put the iron on it. I'll put a bit of baking paper over the top and that'll help protect it a little bit. As I said, I've done this so many times, but basically you just heat this for about 10 seconds, move it along a bit and just keep going. Let it cool off and then peel off the plastic covering. And hopefully the text will stay there. I'll let that cool off and we should be able to peel this top plastic piece off. That's cooled off a bit. It's still a bit warm, but it's okay. It should come off. So it's looking good so far. Now some bits may stick to the plastic, in which case I will just apply a bit more heat and it'll fix it. That looks really, really good. Probably a little hard to see there, but that's come out perfect. I'm back inside and I'm very happy with this dial. I'm finally getting used to doing it and not smudging it. It's come up really nice. So with that out of the way, I can have a look at the case. There was two reasons I thought I may not do the radio. One was the dial and the other was the condition of the case. But now that I've got that gel coat that Blitz recommended, I might be able to do something with this. So before I do the radio, once again, I'll just make sure I can actually restore the case back to something that's presentable. And if that's okay, we'll do the radio. The first thing to do is take the chassis out so I can work on the case. I'll just get the cord out. And there's the knobs. I don't think the screws are in there. No, that should just come out. The case is filthy inside. I'll wash it all out and I'll take it out to my workshop. I'm out in the workshop. I've washed the case. It's still pretty ordinary looking. This white paint on the front, I used a brush on it and it started to take it off, so I'm going to have to strip that off. I'll need to get that Mullard sign off there, but it looks okay. The inside cleaned up pretty good as well. I'll take this Mullard sign out first and then I'll polish this up with some abrasives and see if it responds. I'll put some blocks of wood there and I'll centre the Mullard badge over the top of the gap there. The Bakelite casting where the badge is has a hole at the back, so I should be able to punch it out. So I've just flattened off a nail. Did that just fall off? Oh, it actually just fell off. There's the badge. All that prep I did and just fell out of the hole. I've done this so many times, even I'm getting sick of doing it. But this is a very coarse automotive cut and polish or cutting compound that you would use after you sprayed your car. So you would spray the car, sand it back, then you would use this to cut through the paint, which would give you a really smooth finish. I've added a bit more water to this. I'll just keep rubbing it for a second. That should do it. And I'll wipe it off. That case looks pretty good. Look at all the old bakelite coming off there. So this has been affected by the sun or something, I think. May have been in a kitchen window or something. I'll put a bit of water on it. Just wipe that on. It should come up something like that. It's not bad, is it? Alright, I think this will come up okay. So I'll continue with this. But first I'll put some paint stripper on. We'll get rid of these white lines. Now I've just got some paint stripper here on a brush. I'm applying it to the little groove there with the paint in it. I have to leave it for, I don't know, 20 minutes or so. I should be able to brush it out and that'll clear it away. I've cleaned all the paint out. I'm going to polish this now. It's going to take me quite a while to do. I'll turn the cameras off. I'll polish it with that rough automotive polish I have. I'll finish it off with a smoother polish. That should be enough. I'll have to then paint the lines on and then I'll put some of that gel coat over it. So leave it with me. I'll spend an hour or two doing this and I'll come back. I finished polishing the case and it's come up nice. It's nice and smooth. It's not very shiny, but I'll fix that later. I've started to mask off these front grills here where they're going to be painted white or an off-white. I'll continue to mask this up. When it's done, I'll put some paint on. I've finished masking it off. I've left slots there where the paint's got to go. And I'll use this paint here. It's gloss ivory. I think that's a colour they would have used back in the 50s when they painted it. I'll give it a quick coat. Alright, I'm going to let that flash off for about 10 minutes. I'll give it a few more coats after that and I'll come back. There's the lines finished. I removed the tape and had to sit there with a razor blade and just clean it all up. Bit of acetone, also took a bit of overspray that it got in. So that looks really good. The case, of course, is quite dull and that needs to be restored. I'm going to use this gel coat again. That pulled up the last radio I did very well. You just wipe it on and wipe it off again. So I'll just pour a bit on a rag. This was pretty impressive the last time I used it. As you can see, it just highlights it. It will dull off as it dries. I've got to wait, I think, about 20 minutes and then you buff it off to get any high spots. But that's it. And it'll look much the same as that when it's finished. Yeah, there it is. Looks pretty good. Do the end as well. This poly troll, I was only able to get it in one place in Australia. It was in Sydney. So I had to mail order it. So, yeah, it certainly works well. Here's the other end. Now, of course, you can just spray them with clear lacquer, and that looks really good as well. But it always looks like it's sprayed with clear lacquer. I'll do the front off camera. I need to get in with a little brush into these corners here. I'll do that. I'll come back and I'll have a look at it. It's been about 15 minutes. It just says to kind of buff it up. I believe you can buff it up a bit more after it dries. Maybe get it a bit more shiny. But, wow. That looks amazing compared to what it was. That is fantastic. All right, leave it with me. I'll finish buffing it and I'll take it inside. With the case looking fantastic and the new dial, I'm going to continue with the chassis. When I looked at this in Melbourne, I realised the transformer had been replaced. The one that normally goes in there is a little flat thing. This one's standing upright. Another thing I noticed was the rectifier valve had been removed and underneath they've fitted diodes. I also mentioned that the rubber mounts on the tuning dial had gone hard, so they need to be replaced. They are solid. Here's the underside. There's the two diodes I was talking about. These are the wires from the replacement transformer. The valve that's fitted to this is a 6X5, so it's not a 5Y3, so it is a 6-volt filament rectifier. When I tested this in Melbourne, the B+ was too high. And I can see a 5 watt, and I think that says 500 ohm resistor coming straight off those two diodes, so they've tried to drop the voltage a little bit. There's a choke. There's some Phillips caps in there. Another one up here. There's a couple of more down here. There's some poly caps here. I can see a paper cap buried in there. Some of this wire is rubber coated. It's gone very hard. I'll have to replace that. I'll tip it over. I'll plug it in on dim bulb and just see if it still works. Okay, let's put some power on. 241 going in, dim bulb. Turn it on. Now this has got this backwards on off switch. You turn it anti-clockwise. It's looking alright. No dim bulb. Lamps are on. There's two. There's another. Yeah. Volume, I think.
What's the hold up on the dangerous Brisbane level crossings that still haven't been removed? I'd love your thoughts on this. 1300 222 612. Does your commute to work or to drop off the kids at school take you through a level at the one through? How long have you had?
That's full volume. It doesn't seem very much.
Do you think the
I
level
think it's a bit down on volume. Oh, it's on dim bulb, of course. Fair bit of hum in the background there. And that'll be due to these two smoothing capacitors still being in circuit. Just looking at the bottom again, these poly caps should be alright. This electrode needs to go. The two smoothing caps are still in circuit, so I'll mount some new ones up here somewhere. I'll check the resistors as I go along. Replace that paper cap up there, of course. And I'll replace all the rubber wiring. It's intertwined with everything else, all the components in there. So they would have laid that down first before they put anything else on. So as usual, I'll put a record on, put the radio on or something, and I'll just sit here for the next 2-3 hours and replace everything. When it's all done, I'll come back, I'll try it again, see if it's made any difference. I'm back. I've changed some capacitors, put some new electrolytics in. There's 3 of them. I only changed one capacitor, I think. I had to replace a lot of the wire in here. It was all rubber, so I've changed all that. I've added tag strips to mount components on that were just swinging up in the breeze. I had to add one for this capacitor and this one as well. I changed one resistor down here. I checked them all as far as I could while they're still in circuit, which is not very good. Most of them were within a reasonable tolerance. Look, they're all high. The one that I replaced was nearly 4 times higher than the specification. The other ones have all come in at maybe 10-12% or something, so they'll be okay. As I replaced major components here, around this area here, I tested it and it was working. I've only just changed this one now, and I haven't tested that one yet, so I'll turn it over and we'll try it out. Alright, let's give it a go. Got 240 volts coming in, it's on dim bulb. Put some power on. Lights are on. Alright, should be working.
Hello, Patrick Stack here. Do you like sport and good conversation? Then we've got a great podcast for you. One cracking story, in depth, every day, in under 15.
It's working, but it's not as loud as it should be.
You can find it on the ABC Listener.
That's full volume, and that's a very strong station. It should be louder than that.
The 2025 NRL Premiership.
Now, something I haven't done is clean the chassis, and I usually do that first before I do the electronics. I'm not sure what I was thinking, but anyway. But it's not as loud as it should be. It's loud, but it's not.
Recognizing the contribution
Yeah, there it is. Look at that.
Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples to the game of rugby league.
312, South Sydney.
Okay, so there's problems with the sockets. It's also got a noise in there. I'm not sure if you can hear it. Sounds like silver mica. It wasn't doing it before, so it might be one of these valves. Yeah, it really just needs the bases cleaned. Okay, it is working. I'm happy with that. I'll take it outside. We'll clean it all up. I have to remount the tuning capacitor as well. Okay, I'll take it outside. We'll have a look at it there. I have the radio out in the workshop. I've taken the valves out, and I'm going to remove this front panel. I'll remove the light holders. Looks like there's the 2 screws on the front. I think it'll come off. Might come off. Nope, there's a screw holding the dial pointer on there. I'll have to replace this cloth. It's started to go rotten. It's just falling apart. I'll take the speaker out, make sure it's okay. Looks good. To start with, I'm going to put a mask on and I'll blow this off with some compressed air. That blew all the dust off. It's left the dirt on there, of course. I'll sit here with some solvent and clean it off and come back when it's all nice and clean. It's about an hour later and it's cleaned up pretty well. I'm reasonably happy with it. I think this was in a smoker's environment and it's just had that, you know, smoke residue all over it and then the dirt stuck to it. I need to lift the tuning capacitor to replace the rubbers. I'll clean up these brackets when I got it off. I can probably clean a bit better underneath. The speaker's okay. It's got a fair bit of, I think it's sort of rust or something on the top there. I used a scourer and some solvent and it wouldn't come off, so I'm not going to concern myself too much. That's just right up against the top of the radio, and the radio has a back on it. You can't see it. While I'm out here, I might as well change this cloth that's on here. Alright, that's done. I'll go and find some cloth to put on it. I have a bit of gold cloth here that Craig, my friend down in Melbourne, sent me. Thought I might be able to use it for a speaker grill, and that looks good. I think it'll look alright. It has the embroidering here, but I think the aperture of the radio won't let you see it. So I think that'll look alright. I don't need to see that bit, of course, and that bit, yeah. So, okay, I'll glue it on. I'll see what it looks like in the radio. I'm back in my workroom. I'm going to change these rubber mounts. I think I can undo it here, and that'll free that whole mount, and then I'll be able to maybe sandblast it, clean it up a bit. It's a loose nut on the back, so I've got my finger on the nut on the bottom there. It's got a little spacer bush type thing in there, and I'll see if I can get it out. There's a little bush in there, it's covered in rubber. I'll have to go and clean that up as well. I think a bit of acetone or something will clean that up. Alright, I'll do the other one as well, and I might go and put the bracket in the media blaster. I've cleaned up the bracket in the media blaster, so that looks pretty good. I also cleaned the washers and little spaces in some acetone, that got the rubber off. I've put one of these grommets here, and I got this from Clark Rubber if you're in Australia, but the sleeve's a little bit bigger than what the grommet is, so it's not going to put the preload on that it needs, but I have another bit of rubber there, and I'll put that in as well. This is just half a grommet cut in half, that's all. I've sliced it down the center, so I've just got a normal grommet, sliced it, so I can put that there, and that'll give us the correct preload on the bracket. I've got the new rubbers all set up, and I can put that in there, and I'll put the screw in there. I won't do this up tight, I'll just leave it snug. Now I've got to get underneath, put the nuts on. I'll do that, I'll come around and we'll do the front. Alright, we'll do the front ones now. I've put a mark here and I've put an arrow down here in case that gets rubbed off. I've got the gang closed, so the arrow's pointing straight down. I have to undo that screw in the middle. Let's wind it back again. I'll put some tape to hold the dial string. Not sure how well that'll work, and this one will have to go right down here. Right, so I should be able to get that off, and hopefully kind of lie it down, and I'll remove these two screws again like I did the first one. I'm holding the nuts underneath with my finger. I'll just take these two out and I should be able to remove that bracket. Okay, now that bracket should come out if it hasn't glued itself on, which it has. As I did before, I'll go and clean all this up and I'll remount it on the chassis, then we'll come back. I have the front bracket installed, so that's all nice. Let's put this drum on. I'll take the tape off. I haven't lost the string, so that's good. Hopefully I can turn the drum and this will go with it. I need to turn it so I can get to the screw. No, it's not going with it. Well, I've got the marks there, so I'll do it with that. I'll do the screw up tight. There we go. Alright, let's try it. It's a little bit different than it was. Doesn't matter. It'll get full travel. That's fine. Up, full travel. And full travel. Very good. The cable for the dial lights is also falling apart. It's rubber and it's starting to crack, so I'll replace it. I've cleaned up the wires, so I'll solder these on first, I think. The hole isn't big enough to get two wires through. and the other end as well. I was having trouble with the contacts in the sockets here. I have some deoxit D5, I'll use that to clean these with. So now just a matter of going from one socket to the other. I'll do the lot and I'll come back. I've cleaned the pins on the valve and I've put them in. I mounted this back plate here, but then I lost all the video. The computer rebooted. One of the cameras is playing up and I just replaced one and they're nearly $300 each. And I've got to go and get another one now. Anyway, I'll keep going. So the front's on. I just need to turn it upside down and I'll wire in the speaker. Here's the two speaker wires coming through, and I've cut the wires off and left a bit of insulation so I know where they go. So those two go there, and these two go here and here. So I'll do that, I'll solder them up and I'll come back. Those wires are connected again. There's just one more thing before we try it out, and that is to fit the dial. I think originally this had a little rubber strip, so I've got one here with a bit of double-sided tape on it. So I'll stick that on there, and another one here. And I've cut some little ones to put under the little retaining bracket there. Now I'll put the dial glass on. I'll do the clamp up loosely. It's got a loose nut on the back, so I can't hold the glass and do the clamp up. I'll see if I can move that up. I don't really know how high to make it, so I'll just line it up with the top of the little wooden blocks there. Alright, I'll put some power on. The radio's all set up. I've got an antenna on. I'll put it on dim bulb and we'll put some power on it. Let's set the volume somewhere around there, and there should be a station about here somewhere. Okay, it's warmed up. I'll see if I can tune it.
That's when he made that famous statement that God doesn't play dice with the universe, because in quantum physics, that thing has a percentage of a chance of being something or being something.
That volume is right up again, so that's working perfectly.
Well, that's wonderful. When that
full opportunity, because then really, like I said, after the first 6 games or so, when their clocks go to normal time and our clock.
So cleaning those sockets has done the trick.
The state of the other changes. That's an amazing thing, and he
now that pointer is a little bit out, so I'm going to do an alignment anyway, make sure it's all correct. I'm not sure how the dial looks. It should be alright. It's got lights everywhere, so I'm not sure what it really looks like. I'll turn him down, but gee, it looks nice. It's come up really well. I've set the radio off the alignment. I'll put some power on. It's on full power now. Should be okay. I have the generator on and it's on 455. I've connected the output of that to the grid of the mixer, and I've got a meter here and it's connected to the anode or the plate of the output valve. We're going to have the noise of the speaker. Unfortunately, I can't really, it's hardwired in. Alright, we'll start the adjustments. That one is exactly right. It's very hard to move because they're full of wax. They're just dropping off. But that one's exactly right too. It's hardly moving on the meter, I can see that. Yeah, as soon as I move it, it just moves down, so it is adjusted correctly. Let's try this one. Yeah, as soon as I touch them, they're moving. That's it. I'm going to leave those, and I know they didn't move much on the meter, but as soon as I started to twiddle it, it started to move down. I went the other way, it moved up, so I know that they are correct. I need to set the pointer up. I've got it on ZL here, and that's 600. It's still coming through because it's on 455. I'll put the generator on 600. Oh, it's still coming through. And then tune it. Okay, now the dial string's not tightened on this, or the clamp's not tightened on this, so I should be able to move it with my finger. That looks good. Now if I run it up the other end, I can get to the screw and tighten it up. And here it comes. So I'll just nip that up. Go back to 600 again. There it is. Perfect. There's an adjuster here, that's the oscillator adjuster. We don't need to worry about that because I've set the pointer to the oscillator. This one in here is the antenna, so I'll try and adjust that. I'll see if I can adjust it. Getting a little bit out of that. We're getting quite a bit out actually. Wow. Wow. Okay, well that's more than I thought. Underneath the chassis now, these are the two trimmers. That's the antenna coil, so that's the antenna trimmer. That's the oscillator coil, you can just see here. That's the oscillator trimmer. And I've got it on 1420 on the generator. And I've got 1420 on the dial here. So I'll just find where it is with the signal. There it is, north tone. Okay, so not too far out. I'll just get the edge of the tone there. And we need to adjust this. This is the oscillator. I'll try and bring it back in. There it goes. I'll move that down. I'll just get it on the center there. And we can adjust this. Alright, and then just the antenna trimmer one. Make sure that's peaked as well. That looks pretty good, doesn't it? And that's it. I won't do any more on camera. I'll go back to 600, check it all again, come back to 1420, check it again. I think it's nearly ready to go back in the case. Before I put it in the case, I remembered because of the new transformer, the voltage was a little bit high. Now I noticed another tapping on the transformer, and it turned out that was a 250 or 260 volt tapping. So if I connected the 240 volt input that we use here into that, it should drop the secondary down in the transformer. So I temporarily connected a new wire in there just to see what it would do. It did drop the voltage down, but it also dropped down the filament voltage to about 5.5 volts. So I've put it all back the way it was. The valves are operating within their normal operating range. They're about 20 volts higher than they should be, that's all. So now I'll put it in the case. Right, let's put it in the case. I need to put the mounting screws on the bottom. I'll do that and then I'll come back. I've put the 4 mount screws in the bottom, and it has 3 on that fascia board there, so I've put them in as well. I can put the back on now. To hold the back on, there's a couple of Bakelite extrusions there, and there's little brackets that go on there. I think they just kind of slip on like that. Yeah. There's 4 in total, and here's another one. So I'll do the other 2, and I can put the back on. So there's the back. I've engaged the 2 screws on the bottom there. Let's drop that down. And there's 2 screws up the top. I've cleaned the knobs up, so they look nice. I'll put them on. I've refitted the Mullard badge. I cleaned it up and I've given it a coat of clear lacquer to protect it. I'll turn it on. I've got lights on it, so I'm not going to show the dial too well. It's warmed up. Let's have a listen.
Decade, the decisions we make in the 2020s will determine the sort of living standards.
So that's the tone control. That's working.
You in control, undoubtedly useful, perks and rewards.
Efficient defence capability in Australia.
Some weak stations here. Well, weak as far as I'm concerned, where I'm located.
Now Tab really flexing their muscles with this favourite, getting it out to a more attractive.
So that's the racing station. There is another one here that I don't usually get. Yeah, there it is. So at night I'll probably get that a bit better. But certainly the one down the end here is very strong.
Everybody's life better if they choose to grasp it and use it. And I just really hope that they...
So there we go. It works really, really well. I'll turn some lights off. We'll have a look at this dial. I've still got the main lights on, but I think you can see it in the camera. It works really well with this vinyl. The vinyl picks it up just like the original screen printing they had on there. I put in many, many hours trying to do that, and I had to make up a lot of it and copy it off other dials. It took me a long time. So I'm really happy that it's come out. And I got to say, the whole radio looks terrific. The case looks fantastic. My friend Blitz over in Germany, go and have a look at his channel. The link is in the description. He put me onto this Polytrol, and it's a game changer. Compared to what it looked like in Melbourne, I was going to scrap this and just use it for parts, but it's come out very, very nice. Look at the colours down there. That looks so smart. I think the gold on the back looks all right. I think that looks pretty good, and it looks pretty good behind the scale there. I'm going to wrap this up now. Once again, I hope you enjoyed what we did this week, and I hope you can join me for my next radio adventure.